Hi, welcome to the Victors Podcast. I'm Jeremy Brown, and today I'll be discussing my top 10 breakout players from Michigan in the 2020 season. At number 10 for the 2020 season, I have Jalen Mayfield, a sophomore four-star right tackle who only started in a few games last year and allowed only one tackle but 27 QB hurries. The amount of hurries worries me, but Mel Kiper projected him as being a higher first-round draft pick, which shows he probably has a great upside. He's the only starting lineman left from last year after Cesar Ruiz, Ben Bredesen, John Runyon, and Michael Nwenu were selected in the 2020 NFL Draft. I believe Coach Ed Warner is one of the best offensive line coaches in the country, and whatever kinks and underdeveloped players are left this season will be in full strength for the 2020 season. For number 9, I have Mike Sanderstill, who is a three-star cornerback turned wide receiver. In 2019, he had 8 receptions for 145 yards and a touchdown. He is very much like Giles Jackson, and both were in the same recruiting class. In 2020, he will be the backup to Ronnie Bell at the number 2 wide receiver position, and I'm sure he'll get some decent playing time in 2020 while surfacing as one of the best receivers in the 2021 season. At number 8, I have Mike Barrett. He was a 3-star athlete recruited in the 2018 season. In 2019, he had 7 total tackles, 5 of them solo, playing in 4 games, but considering he was playing under Khalil Hudson isn't surprising. Mike was a QB in high school and was using a fake punt conversion last year, but at the Viper position, I think he'll do fine. He's 6 foot, 227 pounds, and a good hitter. Vincent Gray comes in at number 7 for me. As a 3-star recruit in the 2018 season, he didn't seem like he would start just 2 years later, considering there were 3 corners all higher than him, but he stepped up and will be starting number 2 corner for the 2020 season. In 2019, Gray had 20 tackles, 15 of them solo, and his best games against Illinois and Middle Tennessee State, with 4 tackles in each game. He's poised for his best season yet, being a clear-cut starter for the first time at Michigan in the number 2 spot. I have Chris Evans at the number 6 spot, being a 4-star from the 2016 class and being a major contributor in the 2016, 2017, and 2018 seasons at running back. But because of academic issues, he had to leave and worked hard all offseason to get back on the team. In 2016, he had 88 carries for 614 yards and 6 receptions for 87 yards and 4 touchdowns. In 2017, he had 135 carries for 685 yards and 16 receptions for 157 yards and 6 touchdowns. In 2018, he had 81 carries, 423 yards, and 18 receptions for 148 yards and 4 touchdowns. He isn't a 3rd and 1 back or a hard-hitting back, but on jet sweeps and when he hits a hole, he can fly. We'll see how he does being back from his season off, but I think he'll make a great comeback. For number 5, I have Cam McGrone. He was a 4-star middle linebacker who in 2019 had 66 tackles, 38 solo, 4 sacks, and a forced fumble. He is compared to be the next Devin Bush, which may sound like a reach since Bush is considered the best player to come through Michigan under Harbaugh, but he's fast, strong, and a tremendous tackler. He should have the best year of his college career so far, and he's only a sophomore. At number 4, I predict either Hassan Haskins or Zach Charbonnet will have a breakout season. Haskins is an interesting player because he was a 3-star running back in the 2018 class, but since then was switched to linebacker for the 2018 season before returning to running back since the departure of Karan Higdon and Chris Evans. Charbonnet was a higher 4-star running back, being 46th nationally and the 4th highest running back in the class. In 2019, both were really solid, and I know they had 4 NFL linemen blocking for them, but Hassan was fast and elusive, while Charbonnet was stronger and still pretty elusive. In 2019, Hassan rushed for 622 yards on 121 carries with 4 touchdowns and 40 yards on 6 receptions, while Charbonnet had 726 yards on 149 carries with 11 touchdowns and 30 yards on 8 receptions. I predicted that one of them will have a 1,000-yard season in my top 5 predictions, and it seems very probable at the time. Giles Jackson is my 3rd pick to have a breakout season. He was a 4-star wide receiver in the 2019 class and reminds me a lot of Mike Sanderstill, but I think he shows better athleticism and speed. In the 2019 season, he had 9 receptions for 142 yards and 3 touchdowns. He rushed 10 times for 69 yards and returned 26 kickoffs for 622 yards and a touchdown against Maryland, ranking him in the top 20 best kick returners of the 2019 season. He will be the starting slot receiver in 2020 and will be a dangerous returner showing great acceleration and speed. For the number 2 spot, I have Daxton Hill to have a breakout season. He was a 5-star and Michigan's highest recruit in 2019, being 14th overall and the number 1 overall safety. In 2019, he had 36 tackles, 25 solo, 2 fumble recoveries, an interception, and 3 pass deflections. He didn't get a lot of reps every game, though, considering Josh Metellus and LaVer Hill were seniors and knew the defense more, and he was a redshirt freshman. I think he has the ability to be a better safety than Jabril Peppers, which sounds crazy, but Hill was a highly rated 5-star out of high school, has great coverage, is skilled, speedy, and played in 11 games last year as a redshirt freshman. He'll be the starting free safety in 2020, and since he's a true safety, I think he'll have more potential to be a great safety. For the number 1 breakout player in the 2020 Michigan season, I have Dylan McCaffrey or Joe Milton. The quarterback positions, besides the offensive line, might be the biggest question for 2020. But I have faith in Ed Warner and not as much in Ben McDaniels or Jim Harbaugh. With as much depth that there is on the defensive line, safeties position, linebackers, corners, running backs, receivers, and on special teams, if Michigan gets another solid line, it's all up to the QB to take it from there. McCaffrey was a 4-star pro-style quarterback in the 2017 recruiting class and has great potential, but injuries ruined him in 2018 and the 2019 season, leaving it up to Patterson to lead the team, but Shea wasn't the right guy for it. In 2018, McCaffrey threw for 126 yards on 15 attempts with 2 touchdowns and ran for 99 yards on 10 carries. In 2019, he threw for 116 yards on 20 attempts with a touchdown and ran for 67 yards on 13 carries. Joe Milton was also a 4-star pro-style QB in the 2018 recruiting class who has tremendous arm strength and has good accuracy, but needs better touch on the ball. In 2018, Milton threw for 58 yards on 4 attempts and rushed for 31 yards on 7 carries. In 2019, he threw for 59 yards on 7 attempts with a touchdown and interception and rushed for 16 yards on 5 carries. Both quarterbacks seem to be what Michigan is looking for to get them over the hump, and whoever is picked as a starter is who I think will have the biggest impact in the 2020 season. Thank you for watching this episode of The Victors Podcast. I'm Jeremy Brown, and who do you think will be the biggest breakout player in the 2020 Michigan football season?